edition of Gas. I am Gresh. He is Jason Anik.
You were playing everybody and we're winning the game last night.
The head coach is fighting people on the sideline.
What do you got for me?
I know you're a part of the Tight Pants Society.
No fucking play is that a gimme, right?
Let's go! Oh, you know you missed these two beautiful faces coming to you here on this Tuesday morning on Gas Morning Drive. I am Gresh. He is Jason Anik. Woo! Who would have known that Pacers ticket would have caused you to go buy a whole new condo? Look at that fancy backdrop you got there. Golly, it's good to be Jason Anik holding tickets that his brother was winging out like they were Frisbees at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, right. Well, for those of you who don't know, and by the way, I come at you live, Los Angeles, California, a little vacation in between school and camp. My wife is from LA, so we creep out here from time to time. I hope you hear me okay on this headset.
You're great, brother. No, you're good.
So for those of you who don't know, we had a ticket 42-1 on the Pacers to win the Eastern Conference. Cashed, check. But what I will say about that, just to back it up for those of you who haven't joined us on Gas Tuesday mornings, 11 a.m. live, we appreciate you. John, every season, my brother, John, beginning of March, buys a bunch of future tickets for his two bosses. Who's going to win the World Series? Who's going to win the Eastern Conference in the NHL postseason? Whatever it is, Stanley Cup, all these different tickets, 10 or 12 on the board. And one of them I suggested was Pacers at 42-1 on March 6th to win the Eastern Conference. It just felt off. I've said this over and over again. Last season when they played the Celtics and they got swept in the first two games, I thought they gave the Celtics really all they could handle. Halliburton was great. He missed the last two games. And I just felt like that price was off. They were, I think, approaching the top four at that point. And, I didn't really believe in Cleveland, New York, and I thought it was going to be tough for the Celtics to repeat. Anyway, hedged about 1,000, Gresh, if I'm being honest, right, on the Knicks, because my nightmare, just like Jaylen Brown, the Knicks beating. Jaylen Brown said it was like dying, but losing to the Knicks. So anyway, thrilled New York's eliminated. I know we'll get into that, but yeah, cash it, baby.
Cashing the big ticket on what I think will be a pretty quick NBA Finals, and I know that you and I will unpack that a little bit later on because we are going to get to crapping on the Knicks, and there is some Giannis buzz, but I think today we need to start with, I guess it would be the biggest story in New England sports right now, Jay, because Steph Diggs, wide receiver of the New England Patriots, was a high dollar ad. And he had a little boat video during OTAs last week where it was Steph Diggs. And I'm sorry, but if we're going to be real about this, when they showed all of those girls huddled around him, it looked like the beginning of a Bang Bros video. Just on a boat instead of a bus, in all seriousness. Like, I'm thinking, when are these people all going to start getting naked? And then there was the little box of something that I'm going with that Steph Diggs opened up. One of the girls grabbed. She was trying to get in there. He was basically like, yeah, maybe you want to get off camera or whatever. I have some thoughts on this based on the internet sleuths, but just start with what did you make of Diggs doing that? And then the Mike Vrabel response the next day of, hey, we want to make sure we make good decisions.
So our producer, Cody Merrow, first texted us this video, and I think his comment was WR1 being WR1. I was like, yeah, like, give me all of this. Dude's a pimp. Call me young and naive, whatever it is. Hey, call me young anytime you want. But my first reaction was like, okay, Steph Diggs, right? Now, I wasn't making the immediate correlation that maybe organized team activity would be a better place. But, I used to think the O stood for optional. I know that they're voluntary. And look, we could talk about this if we just isolate sort of the OTAs, right? Different players at different stages, right? Carlton Davis was enjoying himself as well. He's new to town. I would have loved him to be there too. But, Tom Brady was always a staple at these OTAs. But in the last 5 years of his career, he didn't go to OTAs. And at the end of his Patriots career, I think when he had one foot out of the water and didn't want to be there anymore, he certainly wasn't there. So I guess I like that Mike Vrabel's there to handle this and not Gerard Mayo. Can you imagine what Gerard Mayo would have done? And who knows? I mean, do you think Vrabel reached out to him personally?
Yeah, oh yeah. There was 100% a conversation, and let me be clear about this. There was somebody online, Jay, who zoomed into what Steph Diggs was holding, and I guess there is a well-known like Kush place, either in Florida or where Steph Diggs was, and it looked like it was in one of those containers, and someone zoomed in, and it looked like it was nothing more than a pink lighter once they did the zoom in, right? And like, yeah, like a pre-roll tin is exactly Cody Merrow nailed it in the chat for us. That so I didn't jump to this guy's handing out party favors on a boat like he's Diddy or something like that. I don't go there. I think there are bigger concerns. There are three things that I'm hearing about Steph Diggs right now in terms of him being in Foxborough. Number one, he's around, but not enough. Number two, there's little to no mentoring going on right now. And number three, this guy's trying to come back from a knee injury where they've got to be sure, like being on a wobbly boat, right, doesn't feel like the best thing for a guy who's trying to come back from a torn ACL. So I think there are warning signs in Foxborough of, maybe he does have some of those bad wide receiver one tendencies. And I think with Vrabel, it's early enough to kind of nip it in the bud. But what I think we might have to give up on, Jay, which is kind of devastating, quite honestly, is this guy maybe holding the hands of these young wide receivers and being a mentor. I'm now actually kind of happy Mac Hollins is in the room as another veteran guy for people to be able to follow in case Diggs goes on, a Diva 1 type of year.
Mac Hollins was helping the coaches at one of the organized team activities when he wasn't even playing or practicing himself. So that's all you need to know there. I didn't want the Patriots to sign Stefon Diggs until they did. And I was all fired up about it, So when I first heard that name bandied about, I thought maybe not the best fit. And so this doesn't completely surprise me. On Sundays, if he's one of the wide receivers on the roster, I think that's still ultimately going to make me happy. The mentorship doesn't really bother me. I didn't have much expectations there. I think he's still early 30s. Just kind of is what it is. Never struck me as the most mature guy. But as long as he puts in the work himself, I think things may be okay. But if you're asking me today, June 3rd, if I could do a redo, I'd say, yeah, I think the room has some depth in it already. And move on, maybe.
You could have gone with another veteran wide receiver that would have fit a little more of to maybe what you're looking for. And the thing with Diggs is there's no question he is explosive. He can dominate a game. But let's also remember this was a guy who, when it really got pressurized and they were in Buffalo, in Kansas City, about to lose again, that guy's ranting up and down the sidelines, losing his mind. To where even the Bills were like, okay, we've sort of played this out. It's kind of time for us to move on. And I do wonder about, now luckily, I say luckily, but the Patriots are likely to not be in real high pressure situations this year where someone like Diggs might crack, right? Like maybe a playoff game, but he's not going to lose his mind over that. At least I wouldn't think so.